Hi, this is Mrs. Lamb, and I am going to talk to you guys today about campaign management for your On the Campaign Trail project. So, you guys are going to learn a little bit today about what goes into campaign management. So, to start with, an electoral campaign is an organized effort to persuade voters to vote for a certain candidate. The size and complexity of the campaign depends upon the office, governor, mayor, city council, Congress, the size of the district or state, and the existence of a credible opponent. The more important the office, the larger the district, and the more credible the opponent. The more money will likely be spent on the campaign. The more money spent on the campaign, the more likely job descriptions and job tasks will be specific, and campaign workers will be employees rather than volunteers. So basically, the larger the campaign, the larger the district, like the bigger the city that somebody's running to try to be a representative for or on the city council or whatever, the more money that's going to be spent. Okay, so in general, campaigns need three things. They need money, media attention, and a cadre of support. The campaign strategy is the way candidates manipulate these three elements in order to win votes. Campaigns deal with image, information, and candidate public contact. So basically, to even be able to run a campaign, you have to have money, and it takes a lot of money to run campaigns. And usually that money comes from donors and possibly the person who is running for office, their own personal money. Media attention. So you need, time slots for commercials and such. And then a cadre of support. You need a big support system because how else are you going to get people to donate money for you? They're not going to donate money if they don't support you. All right. So campaigns require attention to and expertise in the following tasks: staffing and structuring the campaign, researching district issues, voters, and opposition candidates, developing a campaign plan, developing the message, image, and presentation of the campaign, voter contact, using paid and free media, fundraising, and budgeting. So things that are free media, some examples would be like Facebook, for instance. Paid media would be if you pay to be able to air a commercial, and it actually costs quite a bit for those for that commercial time. Okay, so staffing and structuring the campaign. In small campaigns, you're mostly going to have volunteers, but in large campaigns, you are going to have paid experts, people who are trained in how to do this very specific type of work. And so generally, a campaign staff will include a campaign manager, and their job is basically to direct and administer the campaign. So they oversee the whole thing. They help write speeches, they schedule appearances, they plan strategy, and they recruit supporters. You also need a fundraiser. You need a person that is responsible for raising money so that you can continue the campaign. You also need a treasurer. So this person oversees the use of the money and make sure that it is being used appropriately. The campaign counsel. So basically you need a lawyer who is an expert in campaign law, especially the finance and fundraising, to make sure that you're not violating any laws. So for instance, there is, a max in how much you can receive from one donor, for instance. So somebody, some big company or whatever might be willing to give you a lot more money than they're legally able to give you. So you have to have a lawyer on staff to make sure that you don't violate laws. You also need a media consultant. So this person does all the advertisements, the buttons, the stickers, the direct mail, the giveaways. They help spin the issues in your favor. So they make like a less than perfect candidate look good by maybe only focusing on, their strengths and kind of downplaying the weaknesses. Media consultants and the press secretary plan and implement the message, keeping in mind that these two staffers may often be at cross purposes. So you also need a research and policy advisor, and they research the issues of the district and they advise the candidate on policy. So the candidates are very knowledgeable, but a lot of the specifics, it's not like they're going home after campaigning all day and doing all of this research at night on their own. Okay. They actually have somebody who advises them on policy, and they're the ones who do the research. They're the ones who help the candidate to be knowledgeable so that when they're up front and they're talking to people, they sound like they know what they're talking about. You also need a pollster. So this person is, really it's like a firm of, a group of people that provides opinion research and gives candidates feedback on how well they are viewed. So like these are all the polls you hear about, like, so-and-so is favored over so-and-so. They do the polls. They're the ones who go out and figure out what do voters want and who are they supporting us. So this is how you hear about like, women ages, 18 to 30, their support for, candidate A is higher than, candidate B or something like that. So this is where they get the information. Press secretary. This person works with the media to try to get favorable information about the candidate in the daily news. They attract attention for the candidate. They deflect negative press. So this is like any of the things that are for the not so perfect candidate, anything they want to deflect that makes them look bad. And the press secretary and media consultants plan and implement the message. So this is like their big point that they want to get across. So it might be something like, Trump's slogan, make America great again, or something like that, wanting something different, or, like on Obama when he ran for president, about change. And so, anyway, that's usually something they really want to get across. And it seems like every time they're asked a question, they always want to come back to what's their big message? What are they trying to accomplish? What are they going to do for us? Okay, so you also need a field director. This field campaigning often describes as grassroots, which is basically like in the heart of campaigning. This is kind of grassroots is like when it's really done at the local level. It's like the people get together and they're trying to make a change. So field campaigning, it's the heart of campaigning, comes under the control of the field director, who oversees contact with neighborhood organizations, unions, clubs, and the coordination of volunteers. Also canvasses local organizations for endorsements, gathers signatures, sets up phone trees, and provides office support for the headquarters. So as you can see, there is a lot that goes into campaigning. So the field director's out trying to gather support amongst the community. And that is it for my presentation. So again, the big idea here that I really want you to get from this is that campaigns, there's a lot that goes into campaign management. And there's a lot that goes into getting the candidate's message out there, getting support for the candidate, and we're not going to have someone doing each of these jobs for this project. But I did want you to be aware, in general, of campaign management and what all goes into it. Thank you for listening.